recording. Okay, so today will be quite straightforward. Firstly is how to create your Eclipse project for creating web services in Java. Okay, so if you notice in Eclipse, better. So today is lesson 4. Lesson 4 is all practical. So what I'm going to go through with you guys is how to create your web project in Eclipse for creating web services. And I'm doing a screen recording with voice, so I'll upload to the site. Okay, so if you notice in your Eclipse, on the Project Explorer, depending on what you've downloaded, you appear here. So what I'm going to do now is to create a project that's more or less in line with what we are doing uh, for your assignment. Okay, just to show you, orientate you to along the way. Okay, so in order to start creating a project in Eclipse, if you go to the Project Explorer, do right click, you notice there's a new context menu. Yeah. So under the context menu, you get quite a lot of options: application client project, connector project, dynamic web, EJB, static web project. So Eclipse allows you to create different type of projects for different purposes. But for the web services module, what we'll be using is this thing called dynamic web project. So choose that, click on dynamic web project. So Eclipse will ask you first to name the project. So because we're going to do a restaurant menu API, so I'm going to call it menu API. And in the project location, you can leave it as a default location. So whenever you install Eclipse, the first time you run it, it will usually ask you where do you want to define your workspace location. The workspace location basically is a folder on your computer that stores all your source code. Now you can change this by unchecking this one and then choosing a different location. But if you use a default location, then it'll be based on what you set the first time round. Then following, you will have a target runtime. If you pick this target runtime, you should normally still see Glassfish 4. If you hadn't had your Glassfish 4 installed properly, then you will see Glassfish 4 here. Then you need to create a new runtime. Now, for dynamic web module version, we will be using 3.1. The configuration will be using the default configuration, so we don't change anything here. Okay, so leave it as it is. The only thing you fill up here will be the menu API, which is the name of your project. So click next. So here it will ask you where do you want to store the folder for your source files. By default, it's always in this folder called src. And the default output folder will always be build/classes. So from source will be your .java files, then this one will be your class files. Okay, next. So on this third page, which tells you to define a context root and content directory. Now, what does a context root mean? So context root basically means the name of the path for your project. So if when you later launch Glassfish, you realize that Glassfish will allow you to browse your project. So you'll browse through localhost, followed by port number, followed by this, the context menu. So if you name a project as menu API, you'll take the name wholesale, including the please say it's case sensitive. So whatever type is capital, you must follow capital. So eventually, when you want to browse your core project, how do you do it in the Postman or in the browser? So this is context menu API. It's expected that when you browse your project, so it'll be localhost, right? Then 8080 or depending. Okay. So Glassfish normally is 8080, then followed by menu API. So the context menu relates to where can you access your application in Glassfish. So this situation with some places if you're doing information services IS is like virtual directory or virtual application. Because Glassfish is like a server that can host multiple applications, so this is a location. Then followed by later when you develop web services, normally the API, followed by the resource like routes or users. So depending on what you build and what you name it, you will define how you access it later. So remember the context menu affects this. Now there's also a content directory they provide you called web content. Why is there a web content directory? Okay, the simple explanation for this is because you're creating a dynamic web project. Now traditionally, a dynamic web project hosts websites. So Up to this point to Java Eclipse, you're creating a website, not creating a web service yet. So therefore, there's this content directory called web content to put your HTML files. You did your jQuery, right? So you need a HTML file. So if you want to make a website, then you can follow this step here, then your HTML files inside the content, become a website. Okay, so but for us in web services, we won't use the web content. Now, so far I haven't tried leaving it empty, but it doesn't hurt to leave it there also. So next thing is to notice that this thing generate web XML deployment descriptor. Now you have to check this option because it will affect later when you deploy your files to Glassfish. In the web XML, they'll contain some key configuration on how your application will appear in Glassfish. So you can ensure that you check this option. Then this is the last step. Click. So now at this point in time, Eclipse will created a project on the website called Menu API. If we expand on it, you notice that you got this deployment descriptor. So we'll open this file, you will actually see some of the default settings. So the deployment descriptor in this case, because you take the website, it will tell you, oh, here are my default. I'm hosted on /menu API, and here are my default web files that I should look for if you browse the root. But in this case, we won't be creating web files. We can forget about that. So you have here AXWS web services. Oh, so you notice that we already have some kind of a web services definition here. Okay, so it's under AXWS. So JXWS basically is an extension of Java for you to build web services. So the reason why X is for extension and WS is for web services. So out of the box, you can actually build web services without using a library. But the trouble with that is you tend to have a lot of things you need to do at a very low level. So low level coding means you have to handle a lot of very basic things without a library. So with a library you're going to use in place, you leave a lot of the handling to the library. So you do a bit more high level coding rather than what we call low level coding. Doesn't mean that high level coding is more advanced than low level. Okay, so if you did like C#, C embedded programming, some of those very hardcore assembly language, right? Sometimes that is more powerful than your high level, depending on what you want to do. It could be even more efficient. So I'll just introduce you to the different folders here. Now if you click on the Java resources and expand it, you will notice there are two components. One is called source. Source is obviously where you're going to put your Java files. So whenever new Java files you create, it will all be under source. Whatever new namespaces or packages you create, it will all be organized under source. The libraries here will tell you what the standard libraries that have included with your project right now at this point in time. Of course, you have Glassfish, okay, and the standard JRE 1.8. Now, JavaScript resources, but we're not building JavaScript applications, so ignore this. Build is where the output classes will be. Web content, if you want to put any of your HTML files, is under WebINF. WebINF. Okay, so if you go to one particular folder, which is the WebINF, expand it, you will notice there's two files here. One is the Glassfish XML and Web XML. Now, the Glassfish XML basically tells Glassfish where this application should be hosted under the context menu API. So this is where you get your first URL from, the path for your application. Web XML actually is the same as this deployment descriptor. Now this web XML will be very useful later, not for all this welcome file list, but for configuring how your application starts up. So the web XML will tell the Glassfish server or your Tomcat server there are certain files or configuration you can make from this point in time. So especially when we deal with authentication, we write our own authentication logic, the configuration will happen here. But for the start, you probably won't touch it yet. So we'll leave this as it is. Okay, so you have a dynamic web project, not a full web service project yet. So I'm going to introduce you to this thing called Maven. Okay, what is Maven? Maven basically is a library system. So let's go to the Maven website and take a look. So if you go to Google Maven or go to mvnrepository.com, okay, let's look at what Maven is first. Now Maven basically is a website that stores, it's like a directory of all the different libraries you can use in Java. Of course, other than Maven, there are also other library repositories that you can use of. Maven is one of the popular ones. So when you look at Maven, you can see that, oh, here are a lot of terms, like artifacts, repositories, okay, you hear that already. Okay, and then all this, I don't know what is this coming from, what all these things. Oh, but basically all these are libraries. you happen to need to use a certain library, in this case, in C# your equivalent is NuGet. Right, so NuGet is your repository for libraries. In Java, Maven repository is the equivalent for NuGet. If you're doing web front-end development using NPM, then there's an NPM package also a type of library repository. Well, these library repositories are very sprung out over the last few years, decade, I think, at least 10 years. Because what we traditionally used to do is that we need a library, we'll go to the author website, download the jar file, then include it physically here. Now in C# you also use to download DLL, then just add it inside, right? Okay. In PHP, I need to download the file and then put it in the folder in my project. Now having the repositories solve one problem, which is over time we have too many libraries put in. When you package a library, my whole project becomes very big because of the libraries. Now instead of having the physical file, I just have a pointer tell me where to download from. So now I export a project, I just have all the pointers saying, oh, I need this library download from here, this library download from another location. So when you import in the IDE like Eclipse or maybe Visual Studio, what it does is read the pointer and then downloads the version that your pointer specifies. So when you export a project, it doesn't become too big. So relatively, it makes it easier to manage libraries. Now the other advantage of using this kind of repository is quite dependencies. Dependency management. Dependency management means like if let's say this library that I want to use depends on a few other frameworks. What I used to encounter before this thing was available was that I will download this version. Then they say you require prerequisite version 1.0 of this, version 0.9 of that, version 0.8 of this. Then I'll go hunting for this version online, download them. Sometimes I can download the wrong version, the whole thing doesn't work. So Maven actually specify that for this version library, it has certain dependency, it fixes them to a certain version. And the authors who create all the libraries actually contribute to tell them what version is my libraries compatible with. So it takes a lot of headache off trying to manage all these dependencies. So there will be some libraries we'll be using in Maven, but in order to use Maven, this repository, what do we need to do? We need to go and convert our project to something. So if you right click on your new API project, there will be this configure, okay, right at the bottom. So you mouse over configure, you will see a couple more options. The last option is the one they want to do, Maven project. So convert to a Maven project will enable you to use this pointer file called POM.xml. The pointer file basically will tell your project, these are the libraries I need, this is the version, and then it will download for you. So click on convert to Maven project. Okay, keep everything here as default based on your project name. Finish. So creating POM means it creates a pointer file that allows you to add libraries that you need. Now after you've done that, it will show you this interface. This interface has a few tabs. Okay, the second tab will be the dependencies. So dependencies basically mean what libraries I need to add in. I click on the add button. So I need to enter some information like what's the group ID, artifact ID, and the version. Okay, then I can add it in. It will download for me. If you click on the third tab, dependency hierarchy will actually expand, telling that certain libraries you use depend on certain other libraries at that version. So these are the dependencies. Not really very interesting at this point in time for your project unless you are doing something very specific that needs certain specific versions. Okay, so go down to effective POM, which is XML representation of the configuration. So POM, basically the pointer file, the POM.xml is a pointer and its native format XML format. The first two tabs, or the second tab actually, the second tab is a GUI version of the XML, so it makes it easier for you to see. If you're comfortable with looking at XML, editing from there, then you can go to the last tab and edit the XML directly. Okay, but take note that if you have a syntax error here, then Eclipse will complain that there's a problem with the POM.xml. Okay, so this is the second step. What are the libraries that we will be using? Okay, so I'll introduce you to this library called Java Jersey. So in Java, we have a few ways of building web services. First option, out of the box, using pure Java code, JX, WS. Second option, you can use a framework like this, Jersey. So they encourage you to create RESTful web services in Java. They also actually build their code on top of the native JIX, RS, WS, but they add on more features. So current version 2.27 documentation. So if you want to expand and build on your project, you can actually take a look at Jersey because you'll be using this framework. So it tells you how to actually create a new project from the Maven archetype, or rather, how do you actually include this library in your project. So if you go to the documentation, user guide, getting started. Okay, so like many libraries we use nowadays, there's always the documentation like this, and it will nicely tell you how to get started. So how do you include a library, what do you need to install. So if you get started, you can see that, oh, how do you create a new project, okay, and yes, this is the, basically this is very similar, I think, almost even quite like, wow, let me look for the POM XML. So the following repository needs to be added into your Maven project POM. So this XML fragment basically is what you need to copy to your XML POM, your menu API. So if I go to menu API, my menu API project, double click POM XML, it will give me this default GUI view. Now I can also go to the POM XML, the last tab, and edit it directly. Now to edit this directly, what I need to do is be able to understand where I'm going to insert this repository from into. Okay, for the start, if you're not sure, I would suggest go to dependencies, add it from. Okay, so what you need to key in dependencies will be the group ID, artifact ID, and version. To find these versions, you can go to the Maven website, look for. So you see a lot of the different Java Jersey matches. So how do you know which is the correct one? So it's very hard to read from here, right? Well, there's another way to look at this is to come back to the Jersey website, get latest Jersey. Okay. So even okay, tend to be quite wordy here. So let's see, the recent release. All Jersey 2 release binary including source, API, docs, jar available to download under the Jersey 2 Maven group identifier. So this is the group identifier. Find this in Maven repository. Let me try a search. Okay, got a few of this. Take a look at this one. Okay, so we have Java Jersey core, Jersey connectors. Okay, still quite confusing, right? Don't know which one to go use. Yes, you need to use is a server version. So Jersey core server 2.27. So this is probably the one. So when you click into one of the version 2.27, you will see this. It gives you a dependency, group ID, artifact ID, and version. So this is for, make sure you click under Maven. If you click on the other options, you have other ways of including that won't be useful for you. But if I want to, okay, slow method, well, you can key in the group ID. Group ID is here. With the artifact ID. the version. Version is 2.2. So this is one way of entering it. Let me make sure I got the correct one. Okay. So once you click OK, you'll notice it comes into your dependency section. Compare with my previous one. Yeah, previous one has a bit more things. Container server as well. Okay, so after add, right? So I can key in group ID, artifact ID, version, then you click OK. Then you should appear inside here. Did it appear inside here? Okay. Oh, the group ID. Okay. The group ID here is org.glassfish.jersey.com. Artifact ID is jersey-server. So this is one thing. So once you've added in, you'll notice there's an asterisk on the top of the file here, right? It means it's not safe. Control S to save or click File, Save. When you save, you notice on the bottom right corner, Building Workspace. So Eclipse will start downloading the required library into your computer. Okay, so take note there's some bugs with its downloading files. Sometimes you may encounter corrupted zip files, which you only see it when you try to run server. So if you have encountered that issue, like corrupted zip files, you need to delete the downloaded file and let it download again. So what else do I need in terms of the libraries? Well, there are some other libraries. Referring back to my API. Okay, so you also need this thing called Jersey Container Servlet. Jersey containers. Containers will be used later when you do your authentication. Use a different one. Oh, okay. Okay, so this one is here, Jersey Container Servlet. Right. This is the server 2x here. 2.20. So this is the next one you need to add in. So org Glassfish Jersey Containers, that's the group ID, followed by the artifact ID Jersey Container Servlet. Version is 2.20. So do the same thing after you enter the group ID, artifact ID, and the version. Click OK, then you should appear the dependencies tab. Yes, and you do a Control S. You notice that after you added in a new dependency, this one would actually have an asterisk on top. I'm gonna do my shortcut. Next library you need is Jackson Data Bind. These are the details, the group ID, Jackson Data Bind, artifact ID. Jackson Data Bind basically enables your application to convert objects to JSON, JSON to objects without you doing extra work. It also allows you to set certain formatting properties of JSON, like what should be a lowercase, uppercase, how date type. Yes. Sorry? Cannot find. Second one. Oh, okay. Jersey Container Server. Let me screenshot. Take the view of this. So this is number one. the screen not the same. Which one? Oh, okay. Not the same. Let me screenshot this. Screenshot the view of this, then you can copy. Okay, so no need to be in order. One version. One. Yeah. The correct ones. Yeah. This one. This one. This one. Yeah. Do the first one. Yeah. Okay. First one. O1. O1. No, sorry. That one of it. Again. Yeah. 1, 2, and yep. ORG. Which one? Oh, this. Oh, should be what? Should we? Sorry, this should be ORG, not SORG. No, the S there. Sorry, ORG. It's ORG, ORG. White color. Better still. Okay. Okay, no, ORG, ORG. No, no S there. Okay. Have you all got the libraries? Anyone missing the libraries? Oh, the okay. So I can. Okay. Oh, okay, okay. Which one haven't? The below three, So you notice there are two Jackson. One is Jackson Core, Jackson JX RS. So you need these two for the conversion of JSON to object JSON. Now the other one here, IO JSON Web Token. This IO JSON Web Token will be part of the lesson on authentication. So authentication will be doing this thing called JWT, JSON Web Tokens, and this is a library that will allow us to create this token that will allow that you can do authentication with. So for example, if your mobile app needs to have authenticated access to web API, every time you call make a request, your API needs to know that this client is a verified user or client. We'll use GWT as a way, access token as a way of identifying if this is the correct user or client. So once you all copy everything, then we go to the next step. A bit of time. You can refer to the FoodieGram one to see the example of all the different things that is inside the. Now, for a lot of modern web applications or modern web services development, this step of downloading libraries like this is doesn't really exist because a lot of these libraries are already built in. Like if you have to write something with web services in Python, in Ruby, they already have built-in libraries to web services. Java unfortunately is a very old language, so when Java was created, web services didn't exist. So later on that like these libraries were added on. Oh yes. Oh, okay. Click on your project. Right click project. Then go to Maven. Update project. Honest. Okay. Here we go dependency. Or remove all and add again. Okay, so Next thing you need to do is, okay, this part will be a bit more different. Yeah, I'm going to copy this out and put in the text file. So because the error first. Okay. Next step is this. You go open up the under web content, web INF, open up web XML. One later. Okay, so under web XML, you notice that currently displays the display name and welcome file list. So the welcome file list is all for regular website. You can actually remove all this. Pick out all the welcome file list. Okay. But what you need later on is this server mapping. So this server mapping, you need to type it into web XML. We should be within this app section. Yes. Oh, if you don't have XML, then you can create one manually. If you don't have the web XML, you can create it manually. Okay. You can go to you download Footygram, the example, right? You can take the Footygram example. So Footygram web content, web NF, web XML here. You can take the example here and then replace some of the things so that it reduces. Okay, I'm not introducing other elements in yet because I think it will be too much. Until we reach that stage, then we'll introduce those other server mapping. For now, for now in web XML, you should have a server mapping. So the server mapping gives a server the name, but it also gives a URL pattern. The URL pattern tells us that you want your servers, web services to be hosted under this path /API. And then any other paths you define for a class of a method fall under the asterisk star here. This is like a wildcard. So let me know when you got your XML formatted according to this example. So after this configuration on the dependency and the web XML, we will finally do some Java. Anything? Okay, good question, right? Why must it be /API? Actually, it can be anything. It can be web services. REST API, anything. This is arbitrary, completely up to you. Some people actually leave it empty, then becomes like this. Yeah, also can. Okay, so if you're done with this, anyone still not finished with this part yet? Oh, sorry, yes. Thank you. Okay, so the next part will be creating your actual resources or your Java classes. So normally what I'll do is I'll create my classes for the services I need. So if you refer to our food menu requirements for assignment, right? There's one of the API that says return me the list of categories of food, breakfast, lunch, dinner, dessert. Okay, so you need to create API that return you categories, but you can up to you decide what kind of category you want. You can put Western, Chinese, Thai, whatever you like. So when you think of the categories, the category itself, you think of it as a Java class, as an object. So if we categories, there's a method like give me the categories, add a category, update the category, remove a category, or give me whatever related. So it's like your object is called category, but your different methods related to categories can be created from there. So if you think of it that way, then naturally inside your source, when you start building your objects, you build it around your services. You need to call it your resources. So category, if it is a resource, then naturally you have a category Java class. So if you want to start, you can actually go to source and create a new Java class and call it category or categories, whichever. Right click, new class. Joseph, you okay? Oh. So today we will try to create some of your APIs, web services needed for assignment based on that structure. Now we won't be touching database yet, so I'll show you some ways of mocking out data in your web services that doesn't have a database source. Okay. Shall I continue then? Right. So to create a new class, go to your Java resources source, right click new class. So category. So category is basically is my resource. Then you notice when you create a new class, you have a few options here. So the source menu, source folder is to change that package. Okay, what are packages? Packages in Java is a way for you to organize your files in different folders. Now, if you look at the actual folder structure, they will be in the folders based on how you type them. Now, you see in Java a lot of times, sometimes you see that so it's starting with com dot, something. So every dot here is basically like a slash going to the next folder. Why do they always start with com? Com actually stands for commercial. So it's like you're doing a commercial project or a personal project. In this case, whatever you want to sign in front doesn't really matter. So you can say com or you can say menu app. Okay, so this really depends on if you're working for somebody to do a packages a library for the project, then they will have a set of packages you must follow the naming convention. If you do your own, then I think you can rightfully decide how you want it. So we are start off with com.new app. So com is a commercial, this is a commercial project, and followed by what I want to call my project menu API. Okay, menu API. Then because category is going to be resource, it will actually be the interface for web services are called resources. If everything else the same, finish. So your first Java class category, what we intend to do is so there will be a method here to get category or categories. In case I'll use plural for this case. So the intention is that there will be a get categories and okay, we just get categories, don't have an update or create yet. So this will return you categories of food in your menu. So you have a public class, a regular Java class, but doesn't tell Java that this is a web service yet. Turn this to a web service, you need this thing, or rather, okay, let me type this on first. This annotation called path. Okay, so when you first type in add path or data annotation, you notice there's a red underline. Now the red underline appears whenever there is things like there's syntax error or you try to use a class that is not imported. So if you mouse over this, your IDE will very nicely tell you, suggest you 3 fixes. Import this or create annotation or fix project setup. Now the last two are typically not what you want to do unless you're creating a custom annotation. In this case, the first option will be the correct choice. So import path. The path, you notice that the parenthesis next to it. So this is a package it comes from. So path comes from the JavaX Web Services package. Choose that option. Now I can use it. So this will be you'll be commonly coming across a lot of these import libraries that allow you to import under this, specifically under this package called JavaX WSRS. There are a lot of annotation, including parameters, types that will come up using under this package. Now in category, because I created a path category, so I think you can guess that if you want to call categories, right, you will get categories here. So how about my methods? Every Java class, you should have a method too. So method public response. So this is the second type of second class type you will come across called response. So remember in the first few slides we talked about request response. So when your client, your Android app calls your app web service as a request, you must return with a response. So literally there is a type called response. Okay, let's complete the body definition. So I'm gonna call this method a get all. Okay. Now I'm missing something called missing an actual response body, right? If you go and mouse over the response type, you will notice some suggestion given by Eclipse again. Okay, take note that there are now even more suggestions, not just one. So there are some students who made the mistake of clicking on the other options here, because some of them seem to look similar. Now, response object it occurs across the different libraries, but the one that we're interested in is always look at the JavaX WSRS. This is that namespace. So this is the namespace you'll constantly be pulling out libraries from. So now that I'm going to set this method to return a response type, right? I need to return the actual response. To return the actual response, this is actually a HTTP response. So response dot. Okay, this part is very mechanical because most of the things you do will all look like this. So what have I done here is to added a line to return the response from method get all. To return the response that corresponds to this type, basically we call the response class, response object. Now they have a static method called OK. So remember along the slides I flash out 200 OK, right? So when you say OK means you are responding correctly. There's no error. And subsequently you can't just end with OK. You need to do a build. So what does the build do? Response builder. Okay, so this is one of the wrappers that does this thing for you. When you build a response, you need to return back HTTP headers and the body. So depending on what you want to throw into the build, eventually you will come across a situation when you insert a object here, a array list or some value. So the build will format it accordingly. Now if you will end your code at this level, notice there are no syntax errors, right? No red crosses in your project. You technically can try to run this and deploy to Glassfish and test out this method. So why not? Let's do that. So if I go to Glassfish, how do I deploy? So second part of the important lesson, you will do this very constantly, deploying your project to Glassfish. Okay, so if I go to Glassfish, right click, choose Add and Remove, show you everything you have on the projects. Now I only want to deploy Manila API, click Finish. So you need to start the server. Now if you do a start server, notice okay, so there's a start, right? Once you started it, you can only either restart it or stop the server. Later I'll show you how to do debugging. So when you're starting a server, depending on how fast your computer is and if there are no hiccups, it should go to 100%. Then the messaging here in the GlassFish will, instead of saying starting, you will say started and synchronize. So two keywords to take note. The state of the server, is it starting, stopping, or started? And the second word is synchronize. Synchronize means whatever code that is on the GlassFish server is up to date with what you have written here. Okay, and this is an error. Do we need to publish? Good question. Good question. Technically, you don't need to publish unless you make changes. The first time when you have saved the file and you add it into the server, you will automatically publish it. But if I do make a change now, or I add in something, okay, then notice that republish word comes out as GlassFish. So it's telling you that you need to publish the changes in the GlassFish server. But before that, I have an error that I encountered. Let me. Okay, so I can't deploy it. And everybody cannot deploy also, right? Hold on, something's missing. What did it say? Cannot deploy, deployment failed, exception will deploy the menu API. There is no web component by the name of menu API. Please see server log for more details. Okay, so our first error of the day. Java expert right behind. The two Mr. Java expert right. Are you a Java developer? Yeah. Okay. Okay, maybe you can use some of your help here. So anyway, I have an error. Okay, so notice just now you have an error. There are two places to look for the source of the error. First, the console. Underneath to the server, there's this thing called console. Console will tend to spit out a lot of messages like it's doing this, it's doing that, and then it complains about something. Now, most of your errors, like exceptions in your code, might appear here if it's thrown or not handled. Now, if it's not here, like just now I said that I need to refer server log. Server log means GlassFish server. So I go to GlassFish, how do I access my server log? So let's go to monitoring data. Server. Okay. So under monitoring data, click on server, you will see that it tells you something about your signature. Or the signature is something else. This SSL signature is completely something else. Not critical yet. Okay, so here the log file. So under monitoring data in GlassFish, go to GlassFish 4848, localhost 4848, monitoring, click on server, and then click on log files, view log files. So this is the other part of the log. You want to find out like why didn't my application deploy? Other than a long list of other issues. So today 7:32 p.m. Yes. So cannot create update center. Okay. Will not create open. Okay. So there are a few errors here that occurred. I'm looking for the one related to what I'm doing. So here, exception while deploying. Okay, so this looks like the exact error that I was facing. So why exactly is the problem? Okay, there is no web component by the name of menu API here. No web component. So I think very likely I must have missed a step when converting my project to Glassfish project. Now let's take a look at some other examples. Let's see. So I'm looking at my FuzzyJam example. What I'm missing here is this servlet. But also in here, I have some things I don't want to use yet. So let me take this thing. I think I'm missing this one. Okay, now here, modify something else. Servlet name, keep. Servlet class, keep. This one, what happens? Now, if you encounter such a problem, you need to remove the application first and edit it. Okay, so after adding in, started synchronize. Okay, that's fast. Seems to not have a problem. So you want to copy this in? Servlet line. Remove that, you don't need that one yet. Before you deploy or try to publish again, remove your application from Glassfish and add it in. Yeah, so when you completed this part of changing over XML, make sure you remove your application first. Then add it in, because if you encounter error like what I had previously and try to publish it, it will not load. So safest is to remove it and add it in again. Once you add it in, typically you will say started synchronize. So long as you see the word synchronize, you shouldn't need to publish your project again. Okay, so once that is done, so assuming that now rightfully this endpoint should be accessible. So let's open Postman. So launch Postman, and I think let's get organized by creating a collection first. So in Postman, okay, mine has a lot of things, so ignore that. Let me remove. Okay, so under my collections, let me click on this new collection button. Call it new API. Okay, let's create. So API. So I'm in this collection, so now I'm gonna try to do a get. So how do I know the URL of my categories? So first of all, my local host, okay, 8080, because the context of it is stored under menu API. And in my XML, I say I want to have my methods under API. And for categories, resource, I decided to name it as categories. So this is intentionally what I want to call. And see what happens. Oh, it says can't find it.
Go console. Nothing there. Hmm. Happens actually. So it's API. Okay. Let me go to my take a look at the application deploy. It's here. Launch. Okay, no, so if you see that it's trying to play call on my laptop, same as localhost. Not found. Ah, okay. Maybe I need to do something. Who used to doing this one? Okay, right. Hold on, let me try this. Well, too many things happen. I tend to forget I need to do this part. So this is creating an app. So let me create this. So what am I doing here? Okay, so I'm actually trying to create a application to take over that. So I will need to carry it from here. And run and resource. Sure. Don't need that yet. Don't need that yet. Dominica, C1S. Sensitive. Okay. Still. Oh. Not found, no error. Okay. Move it. Not found. Oh, okay. Very, very dumb. The missing part is here. So I never define the annotation. Yeah. So that's why it's named here. Okay, so for all the stupid things. Yep. Okay. Let's rewind a bit. Okay. Intentionally, I didn't want this thing to be there. We highlight, comment off. Because you don't need to know about this part yet. Not yet. This one doesn't need to be aware yet, okay? This one. So I'm trying to create something that doesn't have all these things. See what happens. Okay. So unfortunately that needs to be aware. Okay, great. So what is happening? Let's see. Okay, so let's look at XML. Okay, in XML, what is happening here with this bunch? So the servlet container is what Glassfish provides. So there's an initialization parameter. So this parameter, okay, yeah. So this basically tells Jersey that I want to use my own version of the application. So it's telling Jersey that instead of their default application, I want to use my version, which is this one, API application. Going to this class here, okay. And the class here basically is an extension or inherits the resource config class. So what the resource config class does is it's a one-time run setup that will initialize certain things. Firstly, the packages here tell Jersey that I have resources under this package that needs to recognize as services. In the future, you will start having things like this Jackson class, the feature, allowing it to convert objects to JSON or the other way around. And when we use your authentication layer, you also use this class to configure to tell Jersey which class is your authentication filter. So we'll still need this menu API application code. If you don't have it yet, then start off by creating this class under the package com.menuapi.app. Okay, create this class first, then we go and edit the XML properly. You need to create this package. The package create a class. So you create a class under source. Okay. The package will be com.menuapi.app. And the name of the class is menu API application. The contents of the Java code will need to follow this. It's okay if you don't copy the lines that are commented. Those lines that are commented off. So have you finished? So now go to web XML. So under the servlet XML tag, so previously you had the servlet name and class. You need to add in these few lines. So what you're telling Jersey is you want to use your menu API application. If you finish writing this part, you can do a save, then do a publish to your Glassfish Core server. Then try to call the endpoint category. Of course, make sure under category class, your method has to get. Before you save, if you want to, you can change the parameter in OK. So the response to OK method actually allows you to input a parameter. Go back and change. So the OK here allows you to send in an object of any type you want. Entity. But if you want, you could also still enter text like hello category. So if you want to finish this part, you can publish, then try to do a Postman call to menu API / API categories. And you will see the response from the server. I'm gonna save this Postman call in my collections first. So I get categories, then my. So I'm going to change get categories now. So instead of get categories returning me a text, I want it to return physical actual categories. So you can play around with some objects. So let's say I want to create categories. So categories may be a name. It's not a simple thing. So have you all came across array list before? So create array list. So with this part you can go ahead and create array list, and then populate the array list with 3 or few categories of your choice. So I'll attempt to return categories here, and I'll need to have try this. See. So we will try to return array list in here and see what happens. So if I just throw an array list into response OK with defining the environment type and try to call it, I'll get a 500 error. So apparently you cannot just return the data back in this manner. So I try to use this application JSON. So I try to ensure that this thing produces application JSON. Okay. See what happens. Still a server 500 error. Okay. So what happens is that you can't actually just return a categories like this. Probably. You see the actual method now. Okay. Yes. After you change it, you publish. Once you publish, right, if it says synchronize, you don't need to publish. That means latest code is there. Okay. So I cannot return categories array list as a object. What they have, So object entity. Now, when you look at the part where you want to return an object entity, which is this option, right? So the object entity here, specifically, even though it's an object, okay. So if you click on this, you can see a bit of documentation. Now, it's the caller's responsibility to wrap the actual entity with a generic entity. So you have to wrap. So what you're saying is that we have to wrap this into a generic entity in order for the object to return as a JSON. So what do we do? We'll introduce another new class again, generic entity. Thing is import that again. So I need to do a new generic entity. How like this. I refer to the old version. Unforgetting. Generic. Oh, list. Okay. Yeah, I need to do something like person. So again. So okay, so what do you mean by wrapping your return object in a generic entity? So you need to create a new generic entity class specified by the type of the type of class, type of object you want to go in. In this case, is array list, then followed by the actual array list. And then because you're constructing a dynamic object on the fly, you need to close and open the curly brace. You got error? 500. Application. Oh, okay. Include the classes. Producers is here. And the T. Strangely, I don't see any error in the console here. How come I don't see any exceptions? Start and debug. Starting the server in debug and try to see if we capture any exceptions. Either that or I have to go into the monitoring data to take a look. You know data. Okay, so if I cannot find any error messages from console, then I'll look at the server logs. Go to monitoring data, server, and files. Okay. There's the error. So, message body writer not found for media type application JSON. Type class array list generate type array list. Okay. So message body writer not found means that the Jersey or Glassfish doesn't know how to convert this array list to JSON. We work with a simple text because there's no conversion needed. So the requirement to convert this into a JSON requires this thing called Jackson feature. Or you can manually do it. Yeah, manually doing it is actually another method. You need to write a class, a method to manually do it. Okay, so how do we get this Jackson feature class into your application in the first place? Utility JSON. Can we do it without using that, right? Let's try something else. So I've always been used to using Jackson feature to go and convert everything into JSON at this level. So if you say you want to convert categories to a JSON, right? I'll go to Jackson feature first. And again a whole serializer, right? JSON. Another library. Okay. Well, you create a JSON object, right? And pass the result to the string. Let's try. Did I spell correctly? JSON object. Where is it from? Change to. Okay, change to this. Okay, good. So let's try this new JSON object. I substitute this with can't instance it. Okay. Okay, let's try this. It works. Oh, need to. So I need to import this library in Maven as well. Actually, otherwise, how else do we do this? Okay, how else to do this is to create a JSON conversion feature using Jackson. So for now, I'm gonna just create my Jackson feature first and import a few things. That just brutally copy over this thing. Okay, how many of you have the Footygram sample code? Do you have the Footygram sample code? Okay. You can copy this Jackson feature from the my Jackson feature Java class here over to menu API, but you need to change the package here, package name on top. You copy the entire thing, but you need to change the package name on top for you to use your package. So you in your package menu API.app create a new class called my Jackson feature. So copy everything from Footygram my Jackson feature also, but modify the package here to new API.app. Okay, good. Next thing is go to your menu API application Java. There's this line called register my Jackson feature.class. This is one more line in here. Once you've added that line in, register my Jackson feature.class, you can refer to Footygram that's also in Footygram application Java. There's a similar line also. This line is exactly the same. So if you had managed to do that part, you can actually restart server, don't need debug code, and republish. So just now we're saying that you can Java there should be a utility class to convert object, right? Or serialization. Serialize. Okay, when he's using Jackson. Okay. Array is a JSON array, right? Java JSON. JSON, which is another library. Yep, JSON is a library as well. JSON allows you to convert to, so it converts into a JSON string. That's basically what it does. Let's try get categories. Yeah. Okay. So if you implemented the Jackson feature, then this is the result, and you wrap your objects in the entities, in your entity. Okay. So two things you need to do. First, you create this Jackson feature class. You copy it into your package, then you probably rename this for you. Second thing, in your menu API application, add this line to register the Jackson class. Producers application. With the producers here. Is the producers imported? This is not okay. Can you look at the producers on top when you import it? Is it import Java X WSRS producer? Different library. Yeah. So make sure that it's using the Java X WSRS. Otherwise, you tend to complain that you can't do the conversion. So this is a simple array list of text. Okay. So let's do something a little bit more. So right now categories is just text, breakfast, lunch, dinner, dessert. What if categories was an object? So you might want to return an array list of objects. How does that work? So maybe to start off, create another new class under source or category model. But this time the package will be under com.menu API.models. So a category model is a class that I want to have other than just the name but other attributes inside. Is there any 4 error? Were you able to get the first version of the get category? The one without array list? No. As my Jackson feature should implement feature. Implements feature. Yeah. Not be interface. Yeah. So for my Jackson feature should actually be a inherit feature. So you should implement the feature class and then override with your own method, static method. Are you able to get the array list so far? No. This one? No, don't override. Okay, this object mapper, yes, you should override the features original object mapper function. So you need all these methods in here, inside the Jackson feature. So anyone still updating your Jackson feature class? So are you getting a 404? Those who can't get the categories. 404. 500. What happened? So make sure you got the Jackson feature class written correctly. Hope there's some more imports. You know, these are the imports as well. You can also take the existing code from Foodygram, my Jackson feature.java. You can copy from there if you want. It's maybe faster. Okay, so who can call the category? What's the error you got? 405 means method not allowed. Okay, so first, what's the missing thing? Okay. So it's not going anywhere now. That's why. Uh, hmm? Postman not working. Can't call. Postman can't call the endpoint. What's the 500 error? Is it? 404 not found. Okay, so if it's 404 not found, go to your web XML. Do you have this part here? Do you have a servlet mapping? Oh, for waiting. Do you have this in your web XML? You have this, right? The next thing under your menu API application, you have this packages. Check your menu API application. First, you need to extend resource config. Then when in the constructor, you need to define the packages, which is where your classes are. You have it? Got it? So here you have this path categories. This one you have a get. You also have a producers. So waiting for you. What's missing? Generate entity, right? Yeah.
No class not found. He's saying which class? Just this one, right? You cannot find this class. Go to your POM XML. Do you have this provider independency? You have this? Have it. About the data buying? Got the data buying? Also. But it complains that you cannot find this class. Inside here it complains you cannot find this. This one, right? The name here. Name I must follow the one inside here. And this. Follow the one under the APP. Yeah, expand the APP, the first class with the new API application. Package also. It's com.api, yeah. Okay. Com. Part of the. Yeah. So you need to. Follow, right? The name. Bye bye. The whole one. Go first. Anything. Very difficult to use checkpoint. Waiting? Still? Still gonna call.
Yeah, hello lah. I really
So I haven't
really
because I'm trying to.
okay. For array list, you need to create this thing by Jackson Fisher class. All the code here can copy from the program. Can copy from here. So you can take this one, copy everything, paste that. Then make sure you change your package name. After that, step 2, go to your menu API application. This register this. Okay, copy a lot of things. Then register this one. Yes, yes. You can see again later. Okay. Okay, just the one first. Actually, the two gentlemen behind.
So some of you are still getting your response to work. So I'm going to try make another version of this the category. So this version of categories gives you a array of strings. It's an array. So I'm going to comment off this and create another version of get categories. So this time I'm going to try to return an array list of objects. So it's not really much different from this stage, except that I create a class called category model inside a package called com menu models. So in here, I would define some attributes like name, and then the things like ID. So under category Java, what I'm going to do is to create an array list of objects. I'm going to import from the menu API models, specifically category model. So in my category model, maybe I need to put a constructor as well. So if you remember your basic Java, how do you create your classes and constructors? Hey, what did I do wrong? So here, create some categories. So after creating category model, which is your category object, maybe here I'll create some new category model objects. So just to demonstrate how you can actually return an array list of objects. Then I will publish. If I haven't changed anything else, it still remain as an array list. What happened? So what happened is that my array list from a list of string primitive types, I introduce an object inside the array list. So every element array list is actually an object. So from here I can actually add on to my object to create more, let's say, attributes and properties that help. Let's say, for example, let's say I want to be able to retrieve the menu under the breakfast category. I can start introducing additional properties into the category model. Let's say here we call oops. So I'm going to introduce a bit more stuff in the category model by adding a typical foods with array list, and then maybe this will be enough. So let's say I take away, so every category I want to add
a category called category breakfast. Sorry, wrong language. And maybe for lunch, I'll create another one. Okay, so let's try this version. So here is an example of adding more properties to your class. So if I have a category model that tells me the name of the category and the ID, I also can conveniently add in an attribute called food. I can add in the list of what are the food items available under this category. So as you can see, when you start introducing the class object, you can start exercising a bit more imagination and how to enrich it. So of course, this is a very blatant hard-coded example, not pulling from database, but eventually it should start somehow. So if you're feeling up to it, you can try this exercise. Let's say, try to do something like this. So let's say I want to do a get uh, category by ID. Okay, so write a additional method here that return one category model detail. There's no database here, so you can hard code the category model detail just for exercise. So whoever finish, let me know first. I will have a next set is the category model. Oh, okay. Yeah. Yep. So create an API to return one category by ID. So by ID means you expected to have a parameter for an ID. So whoever first to complete this endpoint, let me know. You may refer to FootyGram examples for him. You can add the resource. It's up to you to add more stuff if you want to. You can add more properties for your own category model if you want. Can. No. because there's no database now. There's no database right now. So here by ID, you can't go to the database to retrieve yet. You're only mocking up the data to return regardless of the ID. Code. So you completed? Image? Thinking, okay. Okay. If you're thinking about initializing the data, this is one way. So what I used to do is before I started the database, I created a data repository. Later on can convert to the actual one you get from database. But before I had database, I had transient data. So initialize a set of dummy data to play around with. Then you can actually search and retrieve items. So I created this new API. I'll create maybe a data store. So I have something like because I'm looking at categories, right? So I'll create a category data mock. So the category data mock purpose is to really provide a way to return data and allow you to have functionality similar to database, but you don't have database there. So in order to use it, I would basically instance this. So what would this contain? An array list of category models. Import this guy and import this one. Okay. So when I initiate in instance, so what I'll do is so whatever I'm doing here, I'm going to just add into this instance. Here, array list of category model. Oh, I will also include find one. So the find one will go through the list. I know there's a filter of find where. So Java array list has a way to search for items. Not index of. Maybe I did it before. Oh, stream. I think it's the contains. Contains is contains, you need to supplement with the object. So you need, for here I want to look by the ID. Okay. Return me one item. So if I want to create a category, find ID. So in so on the most native form, you can write a method say find one. Here what I'll do is that so I'm using my mock data, and I can create a category mock data here. Because here complaints again. Yeah, to category mock data. Okay. So import this one first. So data find one ID. So the last part here, when you return an object, or we can still do an entity. So in the entity side, I'll need to do a new category model, throw in the category. So this one will need to be a get method, and there's a path. So you all remember, I want the ID to be a parameter, and if I have an ID here, means my find one the path needs to be defined as a path parameter with the matching name. Path parameter also will ask you to port. Okay, path parameter, there's two classes. Here there's a WebSocket server, we're not using that. Remember, it's a Java X WSRS, okay? Use that one instead. So publish this. Check categories to normal. We create one more method here. Categories by one. Categories two. So this is how you might want to use a mock data to simulate a database when we don't have a database yet. So I should get one. Anyone has a completed version? Okay, not the data minus the data mock store. Okay, you don't need the data mock store, that one's extra. But at least something like this will return me a category model. You just randomize, put dummy data also can. Okay, the reason why I'm asking is because whoever of you completed this thing, I'm going to test the API on your computer without my Postman calling your laptop directly. Okay, how I'm going to do that is you can download this thing called ngrok. It's free. Of course, you can join if you want to, or you don't care about the joining part. So There's a download link, download for Windows. What ngrok does is that it's a VPN that turns your computer into a server on the internet. Now, not to set expectation right, it's not as powerful as a server outside, but it's relatively useful when you want to do testing, especially with your Android application. If you want your Android application to talk to your computer as a web service, then you can consider using ngrok. So I'm going to go to my ngrok and if I have okay, so I got this. Okay. So because now I have my local host at 8080, I'm going to turn my computer into a server. Okay, so what happened is when you type certain command, what I did is that immediately I have this particular URL as some sort of a server. Let me go to my local host. So in order for me to find out what my funny URL here is, because I'm running on a free plan, so this is my URL. So if you attempt to try on your Postman, try to call this endpoint. So any of you can use your Postman to call this endpoint and see what happens. So some of you just called. You got 404, right? Okay. Change the API to E and I capital case. Call again. First part, this subdomain name is provided random by host under their server. So you can actually call my web services through this domain name. Now the other thing is you also notice that there's a difference between this and this, right? Okay. So when you're doing API calls in your entire URL, the first part here is case sensitive. Domain names are case sensitive. When you come out to the path, anything after the domain name, all are case sensitive. So if you want to develop the API with certain parts of your text being capital cases, large cases, right? When the users call your endpoint, they need to follow it as capital cases. But typically outside, normally the practice is never to write your endpoints paths in mixed cases. Always everything standardized in lower cases. Oh, so someone tried to call my main website, my root, right? So I can see the details of your endpoint calls from here. And get API categories to internal server error. That's new. Okay, so okay, so far this is the basic, all your first web services that you can write on. So what I will do for the next lesson and on is that we'll start developing the other web services that you need for assignment 2. So you just going through the exercise of how to write the different web services. So today we just do we just did more of the GET request. The next round we'll try the post and request. Okay. Any questions? Is it confusing so far? Is it gotten extra confusing since the last class? Is it working? Yes. I'll post the video plus the source code.